Warning! The following gameplay video was created by a scrub. If scrub gameplay disturbs you, stop the video now. Hello! Welcome back to this map where we can almost see what we're doing. Well, judging by the kind of build-up that we just encountered, our biggest test in the mission is coming up quite soon. That's right, this mission is quite short, although you could probably tell from the size of the map and the fact that there aren't any squads to actually recruit here. It just places you in one big pinch of a situation, but that's plenty as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that's usually what I get for most of the missions. They're just more busy work. Well, maybe some of the later missions will prove me wrong, but that's what it's been like so far. Well, so what do we have Emilio do? Interesting question. I haven't actually stripped the troops off of most of these guys, and I'm gonna need him to absorb some attacks where he is. And I'll need to pay attention to that E-wire as well. But moving him to try to finish something off seems like a bad idea. Although it's worth saying that with this particular unit setup, I don't actually have a vulnerable backline exactly. Granted, my light FWs are a bit of a vulnerable front line, but if someone rushes forward to attack someone at short range that I did not expect, okay, I'm still fighting at my optimal range. What's gonna happen? The real danger, as we are about to see, is that since the enemy is getting bunched up, they can start all attacking one of my units in a fairly short amount of time, which is the best way to lose a unit, and because I'm a perfectionist, it would mean that I have to restart the map, which, of course, I have to emphasize is not going to happen, because I would never record a map where I lose in the end. That would waste everyone's time. You've seen how long some of these missions are. I don't want to make you watch 3 hours of videos only to say, oops, gotta start over. So, while it does make things a little more predictable, I'd like to think that, as usual, the interesting parts are in the details, and also, I hope that it's a decent trade in your eyes. Well, these guys that Ryoko is about to punch, well, it's one of those squad setups that's made to be a huge pain to remove. So, cooperation and smoke shot. You've seen that before. So I'm not gonna bother. Yeah, that guy brought that really nasty troop squad in a light AFW that Ryoko can punch twice to get off the map, and well, that's all. Is slightly suboptimal experience-wise, but highly optimal winning the map-wise. And, of course, there's going to be punching. This is rather messy punching because this particular AFW I'm up against is no joke. Fortunately, there's only one of it at this point, and Emilio can favorably trade punches with the rest, and I am very surprised that that medium AFW did not do anything. It just stood by. That does not seem like normal behavior at all. Usually, even when their troops are gone, it will move to attack something or at least repair. I can only imagine that it was hard. Well, I don't actually know what the word hard-coded means, but it was specifically instructed by the code to just stand on that town for a certain amount of time. That's my best guess. And yeah, more punching. Well, that hammer and sickle combat arm is real subtle, wouldn't you say? Well then, Kinsato is not in the very best of shape, but my best guess is that if I move up and to the left of that anti-AFW, I'll be out of range of most of those things because moving around in the slow is really difficult. Also, I really need to take the troops off of that anti-AFW so I can dismantle it properly. That is a tough machine, and I don't want to get into a slugfest with it. So I figure that if the medium AFW moves up and to the right to attack on a diagonal, which it almost certainly will, the light AFW will be blocked off, and the foreleg almost certainly can't move far enough, so it should be pretty safe. As for that squadless medium AFW, Jun will take care of that. That's going to be his job. Whew. Even though it's soon to be 5v6, 4v6 in kind of a brawl like this with several fragile AFWs, looking pretty risky. Oh, looks like the foreleg can move forward far enough to attack Kinsato if I move him like that. But he's had a good track record for using dodge action and then just escaping from the battlefield. And I really, really need to strip some enemy troops and start putting the odds in our favor. Okay, well, I don't blame past me for taking some time to work this out. Because even though I'm not that far into the mission, it's still no fun to have to start over. Since I'm facing an anti-AFW, it seems like a pretty good idea to put some mines out there. Of course, that means that my recon troop won't be shooting their squads. I use troop and squad interchangeably. I definitely shouldn't do that, but it's just what my stupid brain came up with at the moment. Anyway, the loss of power on the ground will hopefully be compensated with ink shrap shells. In fact, this seems like a really good time to use ink shrap because anytime an anti-AFW encounters a light AFW, there's a good chance that the fight will not last very long. I was stuck between saying take very long and last very long. Also, only one damage number was displayed, but trust me, both of them got hit. Yeah, it is not pretty seeing more squishy squad take an ink shrap. Yeesh. Ooh. Yeah. Even though anti-AFWs are not the best at shooting, it's still nasty to take a short-range heat shell. So, maximum attack or another ink shrap? While ink shrap's are very limited in supply, I do like to use my recon on the ground, so I might not even get many chances to use it. This kind of wastes the damage from the co-op, but I mean, if this situation is about as difficult as Kinsado can encounter. Well, okay, technically it would be worse if they were bringing medics with smoke shot, but you get the idea. Now, I'd love for the battle to last long enough to put down 2 mines. Because, after all, an anti-AFW that can't move is a wonderful target. However, it seems that we won't have time for that. So we'll have to settle for 1 mine. Which, I mean, slowing down an anti-AFW is still pretty nice. Wow. Didn't even have to start close combat for that to happen. Well, let's throw that second punch. We definitely don't want them to engage one of my light AFWs and cause a whole bunch of trouble. They must have had a lot of fun creating the animation of those light AFWs just flipping over in the air. At least, I hope they did. Because I love to see people enjoy their jobs as long as the job is not horrifying. So, where do I want to put Jun? Putting him on the road is the safer strategy. And it would mean that he gets his next turn sooner. Putting him in the mountains, well, I don't really see an upside to that. I mean, he does have dodge actions, he's kind of survivable, but if he's caught by one wire, forget it. The reason for my deliberation is that moving him forward onto the road is going to hinder Ryoko's forward movement, and she needs all of the open space she can get if she's going to contribute at all. There is good news, though. If he moves and attacks, his next turn will still come up sooner than Ryoko's does. So I can just do this. Yeah, those two must have had their turns come up at just about the same time for it to work out that way. Now, I would love to be able to take these guys out in one exchange. It would be great. However, just in case it doesn't. And also, just to aid survival. It's not like they can repair themselves, so let's do that aim weapon. Now, I don't know if you were paying attention, but that medium AFW had its load gauge almost full. I think destroyed is a bit too strong of a word since it can technically still fire, but this is where I discovered that a successful aim weapon actually empties the enemy load gauge. It comes out instantly too, so it's pretty easy to time effectively. Also, I was very depressed when that near 80% shot missed, but as many games have proven, 80% is not 100%. And now I need to work very hard to move into short range because that shell pushed me back a fair amount, and they're going to have a lot of opportunity and inclination to move backwards. It's actually one of the few downsides of having an enemy with no squads. They are free to move. Ooh, that was a little depressing as well. So 230 is roughly the limit of what I'm willing to put up with, because Jun might be attacked as well. I don't know what's gonna happen. So assuming that I do around 50 or 60 damage, also I'm really glad he shot at my squads there. Sorry guy, your death was more optimal for me than taking a hit to my armor. Anyway. Yeah, so let's say 50 damage a shot. If both of those hit, I would still not be able to finish the enemy. So, as tempting as it is to blame luck on that, it's just how things work out numbers-wise. It's going to take 2 attacks. Alright, now, I did not see that coming. I definitely did not see that one coming. What's weird is I thought I checked its movement range and it couldn't quite reach on... I definitely didn't think of it attacking on a diagonal, but you can't assume that AFWs are going to just have their base attack range. In fact, that's not the first time I've run into trouble because of that sort of thing. The good news is that it's very unlikely that they'll be able to deal a lot of damage to me. It's still daytime, but they're gonna have quite a bit of trouble aiming like that. I mean, you can see my base aim percent, and he's got to deal with my terrain advantage because he's on the attack. It's gonna be rough. I'm actually not too happy that he neglected to use any of his heat shells, because it would do pathetic damage and I would get that heat shell out of the way. Still, losing 12 health from an engagement like that is by far not the worst thing that could happen. Okay, now, you see that wire there? That would be an excellent reason for me to put my mechanics on the ground because they have cleanup. That would allow me to use dodge action and escape this battle quickly. Unfortunately, I was not thinking too clearly during this. That's not even an excuse, it's just what happened. It's awful. I wasn't paying attention to all of the skills I put in my own squads. Or my own unit. Whatever. So, all the damage I'm about to take was avoidable. Well, okay, that's not avoidable, to be fair. Man, I'm glad they weren't packing APCR shells, though. Well, since I'm stuck in place, I might as well move my squads forward and have them throw out a cooperation. Maybe that'll convince them to keep their wire in crew next time. Still, I'm stuck, and not in a very good position at all. If I wasn't stuck, I'd probably have escaped before the second heat shell was thrown out. Well, at least it was an E-wire, I guess. Although, forcing that supply squad to retreat may have been a bad idea because they just prepared another wire. And now they're moving forward. So you can probably guess how I felt at the time. that bit of extra movement I get from moving during the enemy's firing animation almost certainly saved me there. Because there's no way I'd survive another couple of shots held up by wire. And that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.